Beyond the screens, past the pings, and deeper than the noise of today, there is a frequency that never fades. It is the sound of a voice telling a truth that was true 1,000 years ago and will be true 1,000 years from now. These are the narratives that shaped civilizations, the legends that whispered to our ancestors, and the stories that still live inside us, waiting to be woken up. In a world that moves too fast, we are taking a moment to sit still, to breathe, to co create a world using nothing but the air between us and the power of your imagination. I, Rashmi Shetty, am your host, and this is Once Upon a Time Stories that have stood the test of time. Let's begin. Today's story is that of Siddhartha Gautama, popularly called Buddha. The story of Siddhartha Gautama is a journey from the peak of worldly luxury to the height of spiritual liberation. It is the narrative of a man who realized that true peace is found not by changing one's external environment, but by mastering one's internal state. Born in the 6th century BC in Lumbini, Siddhartha was a prince of the Shakya clan. Upon his birth, sages predicted that he would either become a world-conquering king or a world-renouncing spiritual leader. His father, King Suddhodana, desperate for Siddhartha to succeed him on the throne, designed a life of absolute sensory indulgence for his son. Within the palace walls, aging, sickness, death were forbidden concepts. Siddhartha was surrounded by music, gardens, and the finest comforts. He went on to get married and have a son called Rahul. Yet, despite the opulence, a restless curiosity grew within him. In his late 20s, Siddhartha finally ventured outside the palace. During 4 separate trips, he encountered reality for the first time. First, he saw an old man, bent and frail. Second, he saw a sick man, suffering in pain. Third, he saw a corpse being carried to the cremation grounds. And fourth, a serene ascetic who owned nothing but possessed a profound sense of peace. These 4 sights shattered his worldview. He realized that no amount of royal power could protect him or his loved ones from the inevitability of decay. At the age of 29, he walked away from his life as a prince to find a permanent solution to human suffering. This moment is known as the Great Renunciation. For 6 years, Siddhartha wandered. He studied under the greatest philosophers of his time and then practiced extreme asceticism, living on a single grain of rice a day until he was almost a skeleton. He eventually realized that a body starved of energy could not support a mind seeking clarity. He accepted a bowl of milk rice from a village girl and formulated the concept of the middle way, a path that avoids both the indulgence of the palace and the self torture of the forest. Siddhartha sat beneath a peepal tree in Bodh Gaya, promising himself not to rise until he found the truth. After a night of deep meditation, he broke through the veils of ignorance and became the Buddha, the awakened one. He realized that suffering is caused by our internal attachments and cravings. To help others achieve the same clarity, he formulated a map for living known as the Noble Eightfold Path, which he shared in his first sermon at Sarnath. This Noble Eightfold Path is broadly divided under 3 categories: wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental discipline. Wisdom is developing the right view to understand reality, and the right resolve, committing to a harm-free living. Ethical conduct is all about practicing right speech, which is truth, and kind communication, right action, which is non-violence, and right livelihood, which is ethical work. Mental discipline is all about mastering the mind through right effort, right mindfulness or awareness of the present, and right concentration or meditative focus. The Buddha spent the next 45 years traveling across India, teaching that enlightenment was not a divine gift, but a state of being accessible to anyone. He taught leaders and laborers alike. With these 8 principles, they could find a sense of balance that remains unshaken even by the storms of life. By integrating these takeaways, one moves beyond just knowing a story and begins to live with the intentionality that the Buddha modeled, balancing wisdom, ethics, and a disciplined mind. To pull these threads together, we look at Buddha Purnima, also known as Vaishak, the most sacred day in the Buddhist calendar, as a unique festival because it commemorates 3 major milestones in the Buddha's life: his birth, his enlightenment, and his passing on nirvana. Celebrating all 3 on a single full moon night, Buddha Purnima serves as a powerful metaphor for the complete arc of a purposeful life. In a broader sense, this festival represents the inside out potential within each individual. Birth is the start of the journey towards finding that authentic self. The full moon night, the moment Siddhartha sat under the Bodhi tree and transitioned from a seeker to the Buddha, is the heart of the festival, the victory of light over ignorance. This is where the eightfold path becomes real. Buddha Purnima is a day to recalibrate one's right mindfulness and right view, to step back from the noise of the daily life and get in touch with the middle path, ensuring that our actions and intentions are in alignment. This day also marks his passing, reminding us of the core concept of anicca or impermanence. While the physical presence of the teacher left the world, his vocal presence, which are his teachings and his resonance, have remained till date. This underscores that while our lives are transitory, the impact we have through right speech and right action creates a ripple effect that outlasts our physical presence on this earth. In a sense, Buddha Purnima ties the story, which is the journey, the method, the eightfold path, and the lessons or the takeaways from the life into a single day of practice. It is a reminder that the awakened one or the Buddha isn't just a historical figure, but a state of being. We can all strive to reach it by tuning into our inner frequency of peace and equilibrium. Buddha passed away at the age of 80 in Kushinagar, leaving behind a philosophy that remains a guide for those seeking to live with more compassion, awareness, and peace. The life of Siddhartha Gautama offers timeless principles that bridge the gap between ancient philosophy and modern leadership. His journey suggests that true influence is not about the power that we exert over others, but the mastery we have over ourselves. With that, we complete our journey for today. I hope you enjoyed stepping into this story as much as I enjoyed telling it. But remember, a story only lives when it is shared. If these words touched you, please pass them on. Share this episode with someone who might need a moment of wonder today. In a digital world that can sometimes feel a little lonely, let this story be a beacon of smiles and a steady light of hope in your pocket. Let's catch up soon to listen to what happened once upon a time.